Hi, it's Tom here from Draw Plans. Today we're looking at another investment project. Again, the owners of a property in North London approached us to redesign their property with a view to adding on an extra floor, creating some better residential space, and in effect getting far better use out of the property. So we had a good look at the property, which was it's in Camden. It's in Chalk Farm Road, and this is the property here. Ground floor we have Nando's, big old restaurant. They've been there for the best part of 20 years, and above Nando's there's two floors, pretty small. They're basically a few studios. And access to the residential above Nando's is through this side door here and down the side, and it's pretty miserable way of getting in because it's narrow and it's dingy, and you can see there's massive ducting here for the restaurant, so it's pretty grim, to be honest. So what we were looking at was doing something on these lines, basically adding on an extra floor on top and then going full width of the building. For whatever reason, this building wasn't built up the full width of the building, and you can see from our neighbours here they put an extra floor on, and I had a good look at their plans in the planning department in Camden to see how they've done it and so on, and yeah, it's pretty much okay, but it's effectively a rebuild on their case. So rebuild as in a lot of demolition, costs major money. So we try to avoid that if we can. Much better to make good use of the existing building as much as possible without having the necessity to do a complete rebuild. I mean, clearly it's easier and it's plainer and it's simpler to do, to just knock these floors down and rebuild, but depends. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it makes absolute sense to go with what you've got and just add to it, and in this case it did, and you'll see it when we look at the plans for the project. But the aim is to end up with another big retail unit. We're going to keep Nando's, I think, as the tenants, and get some decent residential above it. So as I said, at the moment it's down the side and it's pretty grotty. So what we were looking at, once we had a good grip on the project or knew what we were likely to be doing or what we were trying to achieve, the conclusion we came to is that we would, well, let's look at the floor plans here. Let's look at the existing. This is the existing. So you got Nando's taking over all of the ground floor. Entrance to the upper floors is down the side here, down the alleyway, up these concrete steps, through a door, etc., which is that's what takes you up then to the upper floors. It's pretty depressing. So, as it is, as I say, it's a few studios at the moment on the upper floors, on the first and second, which isn't too bad, but you could never create a decent flat or flats above with this kind of entrance. Obviously, you can do it, but you just wouldn't get a great return on your investment because of the entrance is so poor. So the way we look at it is that if you're going to extend by pushing out and create bigger units and do an extra floor, then the key to this project was getting good access to the upper floors, and so for that, this is what we ended up doing. As you can see, this is a proposal. This was a proposal. So what we did was we reduced Nando's by about a metre on the left, and we created a new door going in, and that would go basically along and then up the stairs towards the back to take you into the flats in this area, into the apartments. So the other thing is, on the other side, we needed to create storage for bins and a bike rack. So the bins and the bike rack are effectively done on this side. I'm not sure the bike racks are showing on this plan, but they do kick in at some point. So bins and bike rack, and I think Nando's suffered maybe a metre on both sides. Now Nando's also has a mezzanine floor, which means that they've got 50% more floor space, because this is their way up to the mezzanine. We moved it. It used to be here, I think, or it was at the end, but we moved it, and so they've still got the mezzanine with a fire escape down through the access provided to the upper flats. So they've still got the mezzanine, and they've also got, these are in fact were stairs down to the basement where the kitchens are. So it's a substantial restaurant with, as I say, a mezzanine floor and the basement for the kitchens and storage and so on. And then they've also got access from the side for stores into the kitchen and bits and pieces. So yeah, as in getting rid of all the rubbish, and they got their own bins and a bin housing and so on at basement level within this within the side area here. That's why it's so grotty for people to go in this way. That's why we really were pushed to create residential access from the street, which is really nice, because you come in and then you've got access to 3 new flats from this position. So let me give you a quick look at what the flats look like as it is now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring another program in here. We have a look at, this was the stairs up to the flats at the back, and it was coming through the back access. You can see this looks a little bit industrialized. I mean, I really wouldn't want to come down that alleyway late at night, the ducting and the, look at it. Is that how you enter a nice flat? No, you can enter a studio, that'll be okay, because it's short-term accommodation for students, that type of thing. But no, not for a family home where you want to create a nice flat. That's just not good enough. So that's what the side is like, and as I say, it was kind of raining that day when I was taking these photos. So that's my finger trying to keep my camera dry. Right, upstairs again, up the stairs, little studios. That's what there were. I think it was 4 studios, and lots of stairs, and then on the studios they're quite tiny, just a little room and a little toilet built in. This is looking down over the front above the shop, as you can see, major ducting here coming from Nando's. So it's a bit of an eyesore again when you look out through these units. It's certainly not something I'd want to be looking at. And of course this is the mezzanine floor within Nando's. So it's useful. They've also got access to their toilets there, etc. And there you go. We're looking down into the restaurant. You can see it's a substantial enough restaurant. Kitchens. They got their bar there, and they're heading down. That's the access into the kitchens. Kitchens, nothing to write home about. Better than some of the kitchens I've been in, and worse than others. So it's a matter. It's a matter of it depends what your experiences are. But the restaurant looks quite nice. But it's been there for about 20 odd years, so it's well known. Aerial photograph of the site. You can see this is the building, the main building upstairs, and like I said, it's a little bit skew ways there. Don't know how that came about, evolved, and what we want to do is come the whole way out here to the right, and we also want to add a floor to get in line with this building. So it's a good old chunk. Now, unfortunately on this one we can't really come back, because we'd be going over the roof of this is basically another building down here. This is offices and so on, but it's not, this is separate, so we're not really coming back. All we're doing is going up and going out to the side, and we're going to create some roof terraces at the front, but small ones, but they'll help the flats immensely without having too much of an impact on the main front roof. Right, so let's see what else we're looking at. So, this is from outside. I managed to get some photographs. Again, aerial satellite image. Okay, so you got an idea what it looks like, what the property looks like. So now let's get back to the plan. So we're looking at, let's look at the existing, as I say, coming in the side. It was coming in the side here, and this is the first floor, second floor. You can see there was 3 little studios there. In fact, there's 6 studios complete on those 2 floors. And yeah, the ideal studios would be ideal, or little offices, because as I say, the entrance is a real letdown. And let's have a look now at what we started to, what we were ending up with. So this is what it looked like from the front in the beginning, and then of course we started playing with it and we gave it a much more contemporary feel. So the access to the side is still there, but as you can see, we've reduced Nando's on the left and on the right internally, but on the left we now have a door going into the hallway and staircase to the upper floors. And as you can see, we've gone full width, and we've gone contemporary with some nice, I think it could be sliding or bifold doors, and we're looking at balustrades and balcony on the front. Now this, what it is this one is the same, with the exception that on this floor we looked at, this was continuing on up and to the left using the existing materials. For example, the existing building has old stock bricks and so on, so we looked at carrying on to the left, matching it all up, and then going up another floor. But of course that puts loads of weight onto the building, and you possibly end up having to do underpinning and so on. Perhaps far simpler to do a SIPS build for the extra floor, which is lightweight, and then finish it with zinc on the outside, which it's really smart. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and if I can drag your attention over here, that's exactly what the neighbours did. So this was the, say, let's assume this was the original building, and they did their bit on that, altered it where they needed to, but this is a zinc finished building, flat roof, upright, and that's what they've done, and it looks like a SIPS build, and it would make absolute sense if they did. So that's what we're looking to do here. Okay, so conventional and SIPS, and again, but the styling is kind of contemporary. Access to Nando's, as you can see how it was. So how Nando's changes is a little bit in this big chunk here. We get rid of that. We end up just reducing one door from here, and otherwise all of this is the same. It's all been kept the same, including the access to the side, which is still needed for the bins and for the bike housing and so on. So right, this is how we use the space. We come in, the long walk, you could call it. Come in, you get in, you go up the stairs, and you've got here, you got flat one. Now they're all basically the same, but you got a tiny kitchen, bit of storage, tiny kitchen, shower room, bedroom, and then a lounge. And here we've added on again a little patio terrace, a couple of meters. It absolutely helps, because if you open up the doors, you could go a little wider on the doors, but it still looks pretty good. So you got the communal staircase, that's now taking up the space that we added on. That's a absolute wall as it is there, the boundary wall. So this is the new space here, and we've used that effectively for the staircase, and in this case we managed to get the little kitchen at the back as well. So that's a compact 1-bedroom flat, but it is, if you look at the sizing, it's 48 square meters. That's effectively a 1-bedroom flat. We've done exactly the same above. We've had to bite in Have we? No, it's basically the same floor plan, same layout, same roof, patio, as in patio terrace. So this now, because we're not building the patio terrace on top of another building, it's going to have steel. So it's basically, if you look at it on the plan, it's basically steel supports holding up the balconies at the front, or the little terraces. Top floor, basically the same. And you know, again, this time we've got better units. We've got absolutely better units, and I mean, this is a lovely view, etc. If you don't mind to walk up the stairs. Now we've managed to squeeze an extra bed out of this one, because of we don't have to waste loads of time on the stairs or a space on the stairs. So we've managed to get a double bed and a single bed out of this one. So it's effectively a 2-bedroom flat. So you got 1 2-bedroom and 2 singles. And that's effectively what we ended up. Now that's going through planning at the moment. I have no reason to fear about getting planning permission. It may need tweaking a bit, but at the end of the day that will go through, because we're not going any higher than our neighbours, and they've set a precedent by going up, and going to the left, well, that's our own space anyway, so I don't see much of a problem with that. But what you end up with is 3 nice, good access, 3 nice residential, smart, modern residential apartments. And we haven't gone crazy with the terracing here. And if we're keeping the ground floor as a restaurant, then they'll have to rearrange their ducting to all go up this way. But beyond that, it'll continue on the same. With Nando's will probably end up staying on the ground floor, done a new lease, and that's how it's all going to work. Right, so you've got a fair idea what we're doing here. So let's have a little look at the numbers and see how the numbers stacked up. So for that, I'm going to drag in a bit of Word, and let's see where we ended up with this. So we're looking at the finances, the cost of the property. Now, this property has actually been with the client for about 30 years. So he's the freeholder, owns all of it for about 30 years. But to make it fair, what we did was we costed the property to buy now. And the cost is around 1.1 million. Cost of development, because we're not demolishing, it's not too bad. It's 300k, thereabouts. So you've got a total investment of 1.4k. When it comes to renting, now I noticed that this is set at, these figures are not entirely accurate, because we ended up with 1 2-bedroom flat. But let's carry on and look at the numbers. The restaurant, the income on the restaurant is in the region of 100,000 a year. So it's about 8.5 per calendar month, 100,000 per year. That's the rent for the restaurant, which has the mezzanine floor and of course the basement with the side access and so on. So it's a substantial restaurant, and it's one, I suppose, why Nando's have been there so long. So on the new floors above, you got 1 floor, 1,800 we put at that. We did a little research on Zoopla and a couple of the other big sites, and we ended up with around 1,800 as an average. Some of them, they're way more, they're 2.5, 2.7 per calendar month, but we didn't want to go crazy with the numbers, so we're looking at modest, being conservative. So we ended up 1,800 a month. Now this one will be a bit more, it's probably 2.3, but let it be as it is, because and we don't really have time to update the numbers. But we're looking at a total income per year, or per month, is 13.9k and 166 per year. So that's probably actually a bit more because of the extra bedroom. But the return on the investment isn't bad at all. The return on the investment is excellent. In fact, it's about 50% up on what a lot of landlords are getting on rental on return on investment in London. So 12%, and we know it's going to be a little bit more because of the second bedroom, so it's probably 13-14%, but an excellent return on the investment. So if you're looking at selling, you're selling 3 one-bedroom flats at 600 a pop. Again, the numbers are coming from Rightmove and Zoopla. So it's about in the region of 1,800, 1.8 mil. You could add, I guess, another 150 for the extra bedroom, so you could be looking at 2 million there, but let it be 1.8 million. The retail unit, we put it at 1 million, and the total sales, if you were to sell once everything's been developed, is about 2.8. So we know that that's actually going to be closer to 3. You got an investment of 1.4 million, and it's going to give you a gross profit of 1.4 mil. So there you go. That's a pretty bog standard shop unit with a couple of floors above in Camden Town, North London, and you're investing to buy at about 1.4. Your development costs are in the region of 300k, and your resale is about 2.8. So you're actually making a good old profit there of about 1.4. So that's nothing to be. That's certainly nothing to cry about. That's an excellent return. Project like that, all done in a year. So in fact, it could be about 8 months probably from day one to start the build. About 8 months to be all done. So again, have a little look, just general look. That's what it is now. This is the site looking from the rear as on satellite. As you can see, it's a weird old shape. Place is well built up. Would have been great if this was part of the property, because we could have pushed back and created maybe 2-3 bedroom flats, pushed back on a couple of floors, but it wasn't to be. But we still did well, done well. So again, a great example. Now, if I was wanting to make some more money, I'd be buying up these ground floor premises here. And there's a few of them on my left here. I think it'll be on this one and that one, buying those up, and again building upwards and getting a really good return. And I mean, I can't imagine what the numbers would be here for this little car park here if you just push out and go up 3 floors. Again, you know, you're certainly making some serious money. Okay, that's about it for this one. Hopefully you got some value out of it, and maybe you're clued up a little better as to how to make some real money on property investment in London. Okay, don't forget, I really do want you to subscribe. I'm getting quite a few subscribers and likes each day, but I'm really pushing to get the subscribers numbers up. So please subscribe if you can, and you'll get notified on when we put out some more videos like this. At the very least, give me a like. Okay, brilliant. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.